What is up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to Esports Rewind Podcast. My name is Jake. What's your name, my guy?
You know, they call me Zan.
Oh,
hello.
Zane, you know, whatever it is. What's good? It's been a long time.
It feels like it's been forever, but I guess that's just because the year is going by quickly.
Oh, my dude. Time is
it's kind of insane.
It's been flying by. We missed last week, by the way. Apologies. We're back for number 13, the unlucky 13th episode, but it's going to be a fun one, Zan. It's been a freaking week.
Yeah, we got spicy stories today.
Yeah.
It's going to be spicy stories today from this week and last week.
Yeah, because we're catching up. So shall we get this one rolling?
Let's jump into it.
All right, let's hit it. Story number 1 in 3, 2, right now. All right, Xanifer, I got some organizations continuously not paying players. And this could be a long topic. It could be a short topic. I know we've heard about this a few times already in 2019.
Yeah, oddly enough.
I mean, god dang, the list keeps on growing. We've had NIP. That was a story in itself. Denial was kind of the notorious one. We've had QBF, all these kind of stemming from the CSGO FPS scene. And now we have Epsilon Esports, who have a Call of Duty player, a few H1Z1 guys, CSGO people, all being like, yo, what are you doing? And it's just like, when will this list stop? And it kind of comes back to the point we've talked about.
Who knows?
Esports bubble.
It's burst. It might have like it
this
very
might
quietly.
This is like
burst.
the initial the silent. That's the bursty noise, by the way, that I was making. Like this is how it starts, dude. All the organizations, they start getting exposed, even big ones like NIP, and you wonder, is this how we got to make money? We got to cut corners and just not pay people, and that's how we can exist?
Honestly, it's so ridiculous.
I mean,
do these orgs not think in today's digital day and age where everybody's on Twitter
that it's going to be fine?
None of the players are going to be like, hey, y'all need to, what's up, what's good?
Especially when those players are outside of the org. There's no more there's no more incentive to be quiet about this. So with the whole Epsilon story, we have a few players out there, mainly the H1Z1 players, because that league crashed and burned. So we have the CEO of Epsilon. By the way, they say they're coming back in September after they restaff and rehire.
Interesting call.
Interesting, bold move. They say they're going to come back, although they also made it aware of the H1Z1 players, because of bankruptcy, they're never going to pay those funds out. They'll never be able to.
Bankruptcy, I hate the concept. It's such a cop-out.
It's such
a oh, hey, we'd like to pay you, but we don't know where the money went.
Yeah, and that's always, I swear to God, in all these stories, there's always one guy going like, I don't know where the money went.
No, yeah, it's like it's the money just vanished.
Yeah.
And who knows where it happened? Not like bank accounts.
If we had it, we would pay you. I promise you. And so I just don't know where it's going to stop, man. The entire situation, especially when we now have the CEO responding to the allegations, and he's saying every story is now it's the CEO saying, besides the H1Z1 guys, they're never going to be paid. For the other stories, he has said every other outstanding member has been paid. But we still have players saying, no, we haven't. And so it's now just always going to be he said, she said. And will the players actually take an org to court over $10,000, $15,000? I don't think so.
What I'm wondering is how many because obviously these are all orgs making really stupid, short-sighted decisions, right? What I'm wondering is what's going on with all the smart orgs? The ones who actually had people sign paperwork keeping them from talking about it publicly.
This is why you're always so insightful. I never think of these things. Like the Liquids, the Cloud9s, the Fanatics.
There's no way this hasn't happened before. This has to be like common to a certain extent.
But it's seemingly only common besides like maybe an NIP. And that was way back in the day, 2014, 2015. There were no laws in esports.
Right. I mean, there's still basically no laws now.
Yeah,
there's no
right.
regulation.
But when is there going to be a time, 2019 or 2020, where we hear a big org and all of a sudden they're not paying people? Then we know where the bubble is really popping.
No, yeah, that's what I'm thinking is we may not ever hear, because those orgs, there's no way they haven't locked that down by now.
And that's probably for the better, right?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully them fixing the problem was, we didn't pay this person back in 2014. We need to pay them now with, like, damages for anything
for sure.
Lost. Yeah, hopefully.
So, hopefully, I don't think it's going to stop. I think we're going to see these Tier 2, Tier 3 orgs kind of continue to have this being exposed. But hopefully, the top of the chain learns from it, and we don't hear about the Liquids and the Cloud9s.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed they just do the right thing and pay them what they're owed and, like, a little something for their trouble.
Simple enough.
Yeah. All right, speaking of problems that should have super simple solutions, we're going to talk about E3 for a second.
Oh, man.
Okay? Because I don't I'm going to preface this by saying this happened during Evo. I'm not going to have an Evo segment about Evo because I know I would just go on about it. All I'll say, Evo was sick. Y'all should have been there.
If people if they aren't viewers of the podcast, this guy's FGC, FPS communities. So different communities, but he always has to mention it. A lot of crazy stories at Evo. So we won't talk about it, though. Let's stick to E3, though. Other crazy things happened at E3.
Yeah, so this is obviously E3. It was months ago. This isn't like new news about E3 specific. Well, kind of is. So in basically the ESA, which is the Entertainment Software Association, which is the closest thing that we have to a larger authority for video games.
Entertainment Software Association?
Yes.
They've been in the news a lot lately, so a name to know for the future.
Definitely. Keep an eye on them because they're in real hot water right now. So I don't know if you saw this over the weekend. I might have dropped it in chat.
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, there was this huge leak of over 2,000 journalists and media partners all the people basically who went to E3 and had their contact details like associated with them for the sake of receiving press kits and info about games. All of their phone numbers, names, addresses, all leaked.
It's just like the one thing. And thank goodness, we're not of the size where we didn't attend.
Definitely, right?
But imagine that was our first event.
Yeah.
And just leaked.
And then immediately.
People on my family. People on my PayPal, my bank, my Twitter. It's obviously speaks for itself in unprofessional, but it's just does it detail exactly how it was leaked?
Yeah, and we got some more details on that even just in recent hours. So basically it was just held in a spreadsheet, no security whatsoever. Like you can just click on it on their website. Basically just like a Google spreadsheet essentially.
Some dude pretty much is walking around with a USB stick. It's like a Randy kind of thing.
It is such a Randy thing.
Oh, my gosh.
Low key.
So it's just in an open spreadsheet, no real security around it.
I mean, it makes sense to a certain extent. And here's where I'm going to play devil's advocate, but obviously these people are idiots. It's totally normal for companies to have a spreadsheet like this available for all their partners, because this spreadsheet gets used to send media people stuff, right? And it's stuff that we want to receive, information and stuff.
We share files in a very similar fashion. Yeah. Just a very select group of people.
Yeah, definitely. But that stuff always is password protected. And in this case, it should have been encrypted too. But, just anybody could just go on there, open it up. And the thought, initially it seems like, this has been a thing that's been on the site for months, ever since 2019's E3. And is thankfully just now being found, and it got shared on 4chan, 8chan, of course, and people got death threats, and it was pretty bad. But it was like, okay, it's only that bad, right? Which is obviously bad enough, right?
Yeah.
Then it got worse, because turns out the list from 2018, 2016, and potentially more also got leaked. So now we're at over 8,000 individuals who have all of their info.
So many questions. First of all, I wonder, I've always wondered, because those people scare me. All right, I'm a pansy. I'm going to admit it. Those people out on the internet, a lot of you guys watching, you probably scare me with the things you can do. So I will give, not credit, I'll give a bit of defense in the fact that this being leaked is not a huge surprise in today's day and age, because if someone really wants to, there are some wicked smart people out there, some wicked devilish people out there.
Definitely.
My second question is why? Did someone actually benefit from this, or is it just because they wanted the thrill of leaking a giant list of people?
I think what probably happened is somebody from one of the more problematic forums out there, one of the people who hates games journalists, because there is a lot of hate for games journalists.
Oh, for sure, yeah, that's not a debate.
One of them probably found it and was like, "Hey guys, let's go after Jason Schreier, let's go after Yang, yeah." Let's And
in doing so, you must reveal everyone. That's just I didn't realize it was actually now additional people besides this past year. So initially, you're a 2018, 2017 guy, 2016 guy, and you're like, I'm safe.
No, yeah, everybody was. There's
and then now this hits.
Yeah, I was talking to a bunch of journalists over the weekend, because the general vibe was, thank God I didn't go this year. For everybody who didn't get doxxed, and everybody who did was like, oh no, I've got to change my phone numbers. There's tons, because obviously there's tons of people at Evo who were affected by this.
Yeah.
So tons of stress, right? But gets even worse somehow.
Mr. Positive.
Yeah.
Mr. Positive over here today.
So an industry member, discovered this flaw back in late last year, September of 2018. and sent an email to the ESA like, hey, this document is just available in plain text on your website.
Yeah.
Please fix it, right? To an email account that is actively monitored by the ESA.
Yeah.
And nothing.
So they should have seen
Just
the warning.
completely.
That's as bad as it gets, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you hear those stories occasionally where, someone hears something, and I probably poor timing for this when it comes to like traumatic news events.
Of course.
You generally hear occasionally you sometimes hear someone like say, hey, like this person, like I warned the police or I warned so-and-so, and then it happens. That's kind of what I relate it to but just like how seriously can you take all the threats, or how many threats were they getting though, where they just shrugged this one off?
This would be
it seems like something you would maybe
this is
pay
such an
attention
easy
to.
thing to check though, because like this is a member of the industry who is reaching out, because an email like this
and
doesn't
I assume
get,
he gave information on exactly as to why and
like
what they could do.
In the article I read, he sent the email to the news organization, just so they could verify it and all that, and it was pretty clear, like, hey, this is a thing. It would have taken 2 seconds for the ESA to check and be like, let me make sure this super important, crucial bit of data is not on our site.
Yeah.
And because of this, E3 is dead within the next 5 years, guaranteed.
Whoa, okay,
Guaranteed.
All right there, Cap.
Guaranteed.
Jesus, you can't just make those statements, dude. People
Yes, I
clip
can.
that kind of stuff. You just said E3 is going to be dead within 5 years,
Yeah.
bro.
Okay, so Sony already didn't attend this year because they didn't need to, right? So, and
wow, you're just bouncing off into a brand new story here, aren't you?
This will be super brief, right? And there are journalists in Europe who are affected by this, right? I would not be saying this if not for the European journalists, right? But let me get the actual name of it. Europe has this thing called the General Data Protection Regulation. So anytime a company like leaks a bunch, or like they have a data breach like this, the consumers are protected and will receive compensation from the company. In Europe, as long as people affected report it. And there are tons of European people who have reported it because they have been directly affected.
Yeah.
The maximum fine is $20 million.
Oh, so you're saying E3, because of this incident, they're going to be charged so much?
Yeah, they're going to be charged. I don't think it'll be worth it for E3 to stick around.
Oh, whoa. So how much? Okay, so because of how much they're going to have to pay out because of this incident? Okay, but those max charges, like I could see it being like, okay, 20 million max charge, but each one is going to be $200 individually.
That's just Europe, though.
Okay.
Imagine once the American government gets involved.
Dang. Okay. Yeah. Well, breaking news to me over here. Apparently, E3 is going to be paying out millions, according to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be shocked.
8,000, even if it is if it is a minimal $200 a piece.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
It's like the Equifax thing.
Yeah.
Everyone come grab your $125.
Oh, just watch.
As we go. Well, Equifax will be fine, but E3, I don't know about that. Wow.
E3, they'll probably say, oh, yeah, you can claim.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's going to be an expense. Let's never leak anything, dude.
I know, right?
We'd be dead in the water.
I get so stressed out whenever we get embargoed content for the website, because I double check that like 4 or 5 times because you schedule it out. You can't put it up before a certain time. I'm like, okay, they said 8 a.m. I'm going to schedule it for 8:05. Make sure we're safe.
Yeah, geez.
Yeah, like Jesus.
Well,
at
least,
bad.
at the end of the day, we can think one thing. At least we've never gone to EVO.
To E3.
E3.
EVO didn't do this.
Sorry.
EVO's safe.
Frick. I love FGC community. All right, Zan, you ready to fight with me today?
Yeah, let's do it.
I
got my fighting game shirt ready to go.
You're not the guy I want to fight with, but it's definitely a really debatable topic, and I feel the need to talk about this.
Let's do it.
Is
this the Amouranth thing?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, yeah, because we've already kind of butted head about it once or twice. So
if any of you guys are not aware, we've had an N-word controversy throughout the entire year of 2019 in esports, and it continues in gaming and streaming, and that's with the Amouranth controversy. But not only her, we also have many streamers who throughout this year have actually been accused of saying it and have faced different punishments. So let's first focus on the Twitch staff issue of giving out bans, because we know of several cases of people allegedly saying the word, and now with the Alinity stuff being thrown into it, the question is Twitch staff being preferential towards female streamers that are large on a platform as compared to generic male streamers? So I tried to explain this in a full video as well, so I hope a few of you guys saw that one. We have a case where it first starts with Pokimane. She potentially says the N-word. I think a far majority of us know that she did not say it. She said the word Anivia, which is a League of Legends character. No ban.
Right.
Within a month later, it was a professional, I think he was a substitute player for Liquid for League of Legends, TF Blade. He also was accused of saying the N-word. He actually says idiots. He has a bit of an accent as well. I think, once again, far majority of people say he said idiots, not the N-word.
Right.
He receives a 30-day ban. So already you see a disparity between the two cases because Pokimane is a very large streamer. We later on find out, Liquid's very own owner came out and defended this guy and said, hey, he said idiots, not the N-word. Eventually, his sentence is reduced from 30 days to 7 days on account that all of the Twitch staff, they said every one of them heard the N-word and not idiots. So then it gets really weird. Now we throw in the Amouranth statement as well because she, I think, is, in my opinion, the most controversial, the least distinguishable. I think Pokimane and TF Blade both obviously did not say the N-word.
Right.
One was given a ban, one was not. And Amouranth, me and you have gone back and forth about this, about whether or not she did say it. So let's not argue here. Let's say she did say it.
Okay.
Because she is, I think, for these three cases, she is the one that a far out majority of the community does think she said it. I am not fully on board with that, just so people know. But let's
just so people know just so people know my position. That was a hard R.
I don't.
That was like
again, we're not.
We're not going to argue about it. I just want to make my position.
I think it's even worse for the Twitch standpoint because let's say she did, and again, I'm saying that hers sounds more like it than any other case I've seen.
Right.
And still no ban. So we have these larger female streamers not facing punishment because then you throw in Alinity. She obviously abused her cat at least 3 separate times on stream, clips and everything. No freaking ban. So I ask you, based off all of that, I don't think TF Blade is the best case of a comparison. There's probably more male streamers that have been given bans that they maybe did not deserve or maybe a bit more harsh than females. Do you think there is some preferential treatment or is there just a really bad subjective case going on here with the Twitch staff?
See, I would think it's preferential treatment, but
I'm not going to call it sexist. I'm just saying there's preferential treatment going on.
I'm not even approaching the sexism angle, right? I would say that, but honestly, I just think the staff at Twitch responsible for handling this stuff is just idiots. Honestly.
Did you just say the N-word? Like imagine. I agree with you. I completely agree with you.
I think that's probably the most likely thing going on here. Because if these were intelligent, business-savvy people who were at all aware of the community, at the very least, they would come out and say, hey, we very much do not think that Amouranth said the N-word, but we do recognize this has been an issue for us to handle.
But they let it boil. They don't say a gosh dang thing.
Don't.
And again, when it comes like the Alinity stuff as well, there's accusations that the Twitch staff have been intermingled in some DMs with her.
Right, yeah.
Married Twitch staff, people with partners have been talking to her in manners that apparently is accusations-wise the reason why they couldn't do anything against her because then she could say, hey, so-and-so.
Has Twitch even denied any of that?
No.
Have they even done that?
And I haven't seen I don't know if even Keemstar's come out with that proof yet. I don't know if he even would. And I don't know what's happened with the development of that. But just the fact that's an accusation that you have Twitch staff who are married that are flirting with streamers they are now not banning. It's just the weirdest concept of like you are a Twitch staff and you think you are that much in power that you are married and you can actually flirt with streamers. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, honestly, I think it is. I think it is.
I'm on Twitch staff. I won't ban you if you just flirt with me. I'm married.
This is the type of situation where I think we're seeing a lot of companies who are behaving like it's still the 1990s, right? Where they can just
glory days.
Yeah, they can just do whatever, and we just got to live with it. And to a certain extent, obviously we do because we're kind of living in a period of time where, like, YouTube has a monopoly on its space. Twitch is really, really close to having a monopoly.
Yep.
Right. So people 75%. Don't have other options, like realistically speaking. So they just figure, we can not say anything, and people will forget, and they're gonna stick around anyway. But
that's not a bad way to put it.
I think we're hitting like critical mass where that's not going to be good enough anymore.
But it's like I think you're right in the general sense that this Twitch staff, maybe they're older men, maybe they're older women, and they lived in a time where, back in the 90s, you could say stuff and no one's going to record you or screenshot you and do this. And
people didn't have receipts. Like, there are people I have friends who have folders that are just like, this is my folder on this person, and this is my folder on that person. Here, all containing screenshots.
Yeah, so it's we live in a different time. You'd think they would have adapted by now, being on Twitch.
Of all places.
It's a very forward-thinking program, I think.
I don't know about that.
I would say they're up in the age of, in screenshots and doing all this stuff and having no privacy. You would think if you work for Twitch, you would be up to date on technology and the things that it can do.
You would hope so.
But apparently not. So the debate continues of whether, you guys can leave a comment down below, whether or not Twitch staff is giving preferential treatment. I think a lot of us agree they do. Yeah. So hopefully things are done. But will they be? Probably not.
Probably not. All right, so this is going to be just a quick PSA for gamers about why we need to pay attention to politics to a certain extent.
Okay.
Because it does affect us. Because I do have quite a few friends who are very interested in gaming, and that is their primary interest, I'd say. And a lot of them disregard most politics because they think, that's completely separate from us. We don't really need
Fair enough, though. Fair enough. I don't really follow politics, so.
Yeah, but I feel like it's important because you see a lot of stuff like this that people try to sneak under the radar because they know people don't pay attention.
What are they trying to sneak, San?
So we're going to talk about the Trump administration and tariffs in China.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right, buckle up.
I'm not gonna throw shade.
You're gonna bring Trump on the show.
I'm not gonna throw shade at Trump.
Don't give your stance. We're a non-biased, neutral show for the most part.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything more than
we probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Things will slip.
Yeah. Anyway,
so what are the Trump and the boys trying to do?
Are you aware of the new tariffs being raised against China?
Heck no. Wait, okay. I heard a little bit about it. Yeah, yes, okay. But that's it.
Okay, for those of you who may not be aware, I'll start with what tariffs are. Tariffs are basically like a tax on goods brought in from other countries, right? So like say China sends us a ton of goods, like, electronic equipment, stuff like that. And so by default, there's been a 10% tariff on Chinese goods. That's just how it's been, right? Trump raised that tariff to 25%. Or maybe the Trump administration, not Trump himself. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, so that's 25% on $200 billion worth of goods coming into the United States from China, right?
Wow, we're raking it in.
We aren't, because that's not $200 billion worth of goods that we're making.
I was kidding.
Yeah. Well, anyway. And there was a lot of outcry from a lot of different industries, like farmers and, grocers, stuff like that, who were like, yeah, this is going to hurt us really badly because obviously this was a move by the Trump administration to pressure China, but we're kind of in a position where we might take most of the brunt of that. And here's how this affects us in gaming.
Yeah, I don't see a connection at all. Yeah. Farming Simulator is the only draw I have so far.
Here's where it's going to... So the administration is threatening a further increase in tariffs to an additional $300 billion worth in products, right? And that's under those products is video games and a lot of the equipment required to make consoles and stuff, right?
Okay.
So Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft all sent a joint statement to the government saying like, hey, this is how this is going to affect us. So in their own words, they said that there would be about $840 million in cost directly shifted onto consumers as a result because the companies would have no choice.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to sound like it's going to get a lot more expensive to build my PC next year.
Yeah, I mean, PC parts are going to take a hit for sure. And
take a hit or take a skyrocket.
Who knows? So basically, they're saying console prices base level, it's gonna rise with the next generation of consoles, if the tariff actually goes through. I don't know that it has. I don't know that it's been rejected. But if it happens, huge problem. And over 200,000 Americans would be at risk of losing their jobs because this is a huge problem for all of our tech companies.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So can you explain as to exactly what? So prices go up because why?
Prices go up because if a company is paying this isn't precisely how it works, but just to make sense as quickly as possible, right? A company is paying 10% tax, and all of their accounting and all of their pricing is based on what can we afford to charge consumers, what can we afford to pay our people, all that stuff, right? And at a base level, most game developers lose money on console sales because the cost of parts is more expensive in a lot of cases than what the console is being sold for. That's why in cases where companies actually charge closer to what the parts sell for, you get situations like with the original PS3 where it was $800 out of the gate and nobody wanted to buy it because that's way too expensive, right? In this case, a 10% tax getting raised to 25%, that's a 15% increase. That's millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, in this case, they're saying $840 million worth of cost would have to go to the consumer because the companies could not handle that on their own. They couldn't just say, oh, we'll just eat that cost. So we're all going to have to pay for that. And game people, these companies might lose their jobs.
Jesus.
It's going to be real bad.
Good news today.
There is no good news today, I don't think. No good news.
Just rechecking really quick. So, so do we know, obviously you said I don't know if it's really passed yet. Would this even take place in this term for the administration?
Yeah, this will be happening soon. And that's when we'll start really feeling the effects by the end of the year.
Holy crap. Just the end of this year already?
End of this year. Because the tariffs, if they go into place, then it's going to start trickling immediately.
Okay, time to start stocking up on consoles and computer parts, apparently.
Yeah. I mean,
so we prepare for the inevitable and hopefully have updates to see if it actually goes through.
Yeah. Fingers crossed that it doesn't. But this is why you got to pay attention.
True.
Because, don't. It's not entirely Sony's fault if this happens and all of a sudden the PS5 is $600. That doesn't mean Sony hates you.
Yeah.
That means
Sony's being forced at gunpoint.
Basically.
Zan, they finally did it. It took until 2019, but they finally did it. I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but they finally did it. Speaking of PS4 and Sony, and we also have now you know. Now I know. It took until 2019, guys, but yes, finally, we have the titans of all platforms out there, that being PS4, Xbox, alongside Nintendo, actually revealing their loot crate odds, which is pretty freaking cool. I know you're not that impressed because it's something they should have done a long time ago, but I just wanted to share it with the world.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's like it's supposed to, it's great for, it's not great for consumers, okay? Because it's not going to affect things really. I think
slightly
we got a ton of comments of people saying it's not going to change a thing, which you're not wrong.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they were actually forced into doing so with all of these anti-loot box bills, being even supported, if not being brought to fruition, of course, with China's laws as well. But at the very least, very quick story here, Zan.
Yeah.
We have 3 of the biggest platforms now saying they're going to be more transparent with us. I'm not going to complain too much about it. I'm just very curious now, the movements that are going to be made in the future with this. Are we going to see more item shops like that of Fortnite and no longer loot crates? I mean, Rocket League already took is going to take theirs out.
Right.
For an item shop. So I think things are going to change, like you said, not only price-wise, but drastically inside games as well. We're going to see some massive shifts throughout 2019 and 2020.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's going to be pretty crazy. So I just want to make that short announcement. I'm not going to complain too much. Next story.
All right. And you got another piece of the game industry sucks and everybody's stupid news.
Dude, you're really, really not... You're not positive today.
Honestly, I'm angry. I am angry because I love...
You just seem to hate everything about the gaming industry.
I love video games.
We're all going to burn.
I love video games, but the companies that make them and so many people involved
Who is it now, man?
They're just so stupid. Okay, so have you heard of a game called Ooblets?
No, and I bet no one has that's watching. Maybe a very select few people.
If they have, it's probably because of this story.
Okay, hit us with it.
So this is an indie game that announced it was coming to the going exclusive to the Epic Game Store after being kickstarted, right? Yet another situation where obviously people are going to be unhappy because these are people who pre-ordered the game, who put money into it before it was made in Kickstarter and expected to get it on Steam. And now, very possibly, very likely, some of those people won't have access to it simply because Epic does not support their countries or their regions or whatever.
Oh.
Right? Obviously a problem. Obviously,
it's an Epic Game Store story?
Epic Game Store exclusive, right? With a slight twist in that the game devs did a dumb. They did. And I want to preface this by saying I do not condone or I do not appreciate any of the irrational hatred and vitriolic death threats that have been sent to these devs after this. But Jesus, they asked for it.
What did they do?
They very specifically, so they made an announcement and that that they were going Epic exclusive, and it was the most sarcastic, oh, you guys shouldn't be mad at us announcement ever, right? I'll read you a brief excerpt just so you have a general idea. Here's what these Epic folks are doing. First, they teach every kid in the world these obnoxious dances, and now they're offering funding to game developers in exchange for PC exclusivity on their game store. This is exactly what Mark's warned us about. referencing Karl Marx, who's always talked about problems with capitalism. Anyway, right? And obviously, and it was a very, very long post from them that was precluded by a picture of their character from the game flossing. It was very much mocking the entire game community for potentially being unhappy with the move, right?
Okay.
Then they turned around and they were literally the definition of that shocked Pikachu face. I was like, you were actually mad at us for that? Wow. How could we have ever foreseen? They came around, they were like, we are so shocked and surprised that people are like, and the way I see this is like, yeah, it's terrible that people came after them and sent them death threats and were super mad and stuff. But like,
you had to expect some hate with all the things going around in the Epic Games Store.
Yeah, I would expect like they were probably going to
during their funding on Kickstarter. Did they promise to go on Steam at all, or did they say anything about Steam or Epic Games Store?
Their wording was very specific.
Did it say we're going to Steam?
It kind of, in a lot of their marketing, from what I've looked
Zan,
at,
why won't you answer my question?
I'm trying to. It seemed heavily implied, but there was no like direct. This is going to be a game on Steam, right?
I'm just trying to explain it from their standpoint. If Epic offers you a higher percentage or offers you some possible reasons to join their platform,
it makes sense. I totally agree.
Are you saying just don't mock the community as you do it?
I'm saying don't mock the community and then act surprised when the community comes back at you.
Yeah.
You know?
Fair enough.
Like they have no right. It does. The cynic in me makes me think this was very intentional to drum up more news around their very small indie title.
Wow, that's a conspiracy.
Honestly, because either that or these are the dumbest people on the planet.
Dang, I've never heard a grown man get so angry about a game called Ooblets before.
Because I'm like, how? How are you this stupid? Were you born like literally 5 minutes ago? Have you ever played a video game? Have you ever interacted with any part of the video game community? Where have you been the last 6 months when people have been mad at the Epic Game Store? Were you under a rock making your game?
I see real anger in you right now.
Yeah, because I'm like, why? You're making all of us look bad. Actually, I blame game devs like this for half the problems in the game community.
It's their fault. It's an indie game dev.
Yeah. All the more reason they should know. All the more reason they should be careful. All the more reason they shouldn't be putting out stupid statements.
Have they worked with Steam in the past with other?
I don't know. I don't care. These idiots. I will never buy anything they make.
Holy
y'all need to take a second, reflect. I appreciate the fact that you're a small indie dev and you're working very hard in your game. Y'all, reflect on your lives.
Holy frick.
I realize I'm angry about this, and I don't actually hate these people, and obviously I don't want them to get. I would have infinitely preferred that we were not in a community that would have sent them this kind of hatred, but really,
you had part of it coming.
Yeah, what did you expect? What did you expect? What did they expect? I'd like to know.
The cool dude?
No.
So we'll run the Randy Watch.
Slightly less Randy, more Randy's company, Randy's publishers.
I think I've seen a bit about this one. I'm kind of excited for you to share it, to be honest. So hit us with it.
Okay, TLDR of the situation. Take-Two Interactive, which is the publisher for Borderlands 3, basically sent 2 private investigators to go harass a YouTuber who leaked some information about the game. And I wouldn't even call it a leak, to be honest.
Can you imagine sending PIs, bro?
Yeah.
Imagine, dudes, what's the goal?
Imagine seeing 2 dudes in suits showing up at your house asking about your YouTube channel.
And I never found out.
Yeah.
Did he was the leaker or no?
He wasn't the one who found it. He wasn't the original one to publish the information.
But he had shared the...
He did make videos on it, but it was all information that could be found publicly. He hasn't been charged, but the company has said that they're looking into it, and it's part of an ongoing investigation.
Y'all are
and it's like literally like, holy...
That is terrifying and just somehow makes me angry. I don't know if I should even be defending the kid, to be honest, but it makes me angry.
I mean... I understand where some people are coming from. We're like, obviously, he opens himself up to risk by leaking information that the company didn't want to be public, right? But all the information came from the company.
Like if it was leaked,
publicly streaming it on Twitch.
Yeah, if it was leaked in a public manner, then boy oh boy, that information is going to be shared, and
Right.
it's allowed to be shared. Not
sure.
should be.
I understand the perspective of a game dev. I've had stuff that I've worked on leaked ahead of time. Right?
Or you
It
look at
sucks.
creators or
But,
music people who have their whole albums leaked on. That sucks. It
yeah,
sucks.
Yeah, it sucks, but you deal with it and you move on.
But I also
you know?
understand to a certain degree why they would want to send PIs if they're trying to maybe sue for something. Maybe.
See, but you wouldn't do that though. If you had any,
that's what I don't know.
If they had
I don't know
any,
what I would do.
if they had any level of professionalism, if this was at all a decent company, they would have sent an email. They would have sent something in the mail.
That is also fair.
They would have had a lawyer reach out.
I just don't know the proper way for a business to go about this, so I think maybe PI is the way to go. Maybe you do send dudes to the guy's house.
What's a good way to handle something?
Beat the frick out of him.
Email. Email's great.
Send private investigators that just beat the heck out of him.
You know what? If they wanted to be super, like, if they wanted to really make a statement, but still do it professionally, they would have sent some dude, like, in person. They could have still sent somebody to his house. But but more along the lines of, let's have you sign off that you actually received the legal paperwork.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think we see both sides here. I'd be very frustrated, but the way they went about things, I think in most lights was pretty drastic, and I think that's what the response was.
They've done this before though several times over the years. They've very specifically gone out of their way to harass.
I tell you what, I ain't ever leaking Borderlands stuff then.
I could not see how, personally.
Anyone showing up at my front door scares the frick out of me.
I wasn't going to buy Borderlands 3 beforehand. Now I'm going to actively campaign. Nobody should buy Borderlands 3. There's too much.
Gosh.
There's
you
too
have
much.
to be so negative because there's the 13th episode. And I told you not to be so negative, and you continue to be Mr. Sally Poo Poo
Everything
Pants.
is bad.
Was that Randy Watch?
That was Randy Watch. Randy hasn't said anything. Randy definitely has a PR person looking over his shoulder now.
100%.
Yeah.
You know what? If nothing happens, by the way, guys, nothing happens Randy Watch-wise from now on to end the podcast, we're going to be doing comment watch.
Yeah, we're going to be, so we can be happy at the end.
Yeah, so if you guys want to leave happy comments, though, I swear to don't say anything mean about Zane over here.
No, say it.
He'll call you on next video.
I don't say whatever you want about me.
Frick, are we wrapping it up,
That's
man?
okay.
It's been a crazy week. Zane's just
do it.
pissed
I'm
off.
tired. I'm angry at all of these.
We'll be back next week, guys, breaking down Esports Rewind and all the crazy stuff that happens. At least we're not caught up in drama yet.
Yeah, well,
at least we're steering clear for now until you just run your mouth.
Until somebody's like,
we're gonna have PIs at our door.
Did you hear what Zan said about the Ooblets dev? About how they're stupid? Like,
I hate Ooblets, dude. Like, people are gonna be standing up for all. Esports Talk said to riot against Ooblets. God, dude.
Okay, here's I will open myself up to this. If you have any kind of defense for the initial statement and the way they presented it, let me know. I don't think it's defensible.
If anyone out there is still watching and has also heard about the Ooblets story, I would be so surprised. Yeah. But I hope someone gives an elaborate response. We'll find it out.
I mean, once again, You've
said it enough,
no,
dude.
I just want to make it clear.
Back much?
I don't even care about my back. Throw as much shade at me as you want. Look me up on Twitter. I don't care, right? But I do really wish these devs hadn't got the blowback. I would have been just as angry about it if there was no blowback, to be honest. I would have been like, why are you saying this? It's stupid.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of dumb esports gaming decisions being made still currently today. We can't be too surprised by it. Hopefully things just get better.
Hopefully.
In the future. And speaking of the future, dude. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching episode 13. My name is Jake. This is Zan, Mr. Negative Dude. Okay.
I'll be positive next week, promise.
We hope so. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Stay tuned.